Hi everyone, it is time for a new reading vlog, and this is kind of a spontaneous one, but when I got the idea, I was just like, I need to do this. And it's kind of like gonna be me trying to mood read my way out of a reading slump. So I am absolutely a hardcore mood reader, but I also love doing specific vlogs, and basically at all times, I have vlogs going on or planned in the near future, and I feel like while I love that so much, I do it way too much, and then it holds me back from actually reading books that I want to read when I want to read them, because I feel like, I should be reading the books for the video, and I'm just like, fuck that. I've been really distracted, kind of struggling a little bit, and I just want books to bring me the joy that I need right now. And so I have a fucking giant stack right here that I will very quickly go through with you, that I just put together books that I was like, I am in the mood for this, I think. Even if I read absolutely none of these, I just need to figure out what I want. The first book they have here is called Scandalized by Ivy Owens. It is some kind of a celebrity romance that I feel like it is 300 pages. I just feel like this is a book that is going to be super light, fun, easy to read. Then we have a book that is very interesting. So that is Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. So this is a book that I started ages ago, and I put it back down, even though like I literally felt like it would be a one sitting read kind of a book when I started it, but I was just like, shit, like I'm not ready for it yet. And it kind of is quite heavy, and since I'm not feeling like mentally super great, I am scared that it's not the best idea to pick up this book. I feel like it's also just a book that I'm gonna fully be like immersed in, and once I start it again, or continue, I will just not want to stop. So, probably also not gonna start with this one, but it's just like, I really want to read it soon. Then we have a book that, I've been wanting to read for 1,000 billion years, and I'm like, you know what? I think Rick Riordan could heal me. And that is Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan. So this is the UK cover that I absolutely despise. The spine is really pretty, but this is a disgrace. I absolutely hate the animal octopus. Hate them so much. But I think I'm gonna absolutely, I know I'm gonna love this book, and it's about fucking time for me to read it. So then we have A Far Wilder Magic by Alison Saft. So this is a book that I like got super excited for, and I started reading. I was annotating it, but I think I need to not annotate it, because for some reason I feel like it made it exhausting in the way that I was doing it in here, and I just want to dive in with no pressure and just enjoy the story. Then we have two rereads, very different ones. So the first one is My Mechanical Romance by Alexine Farrell-Falmouth. So this is actually the author Olivia Blake. I think that is either her real name or a different pen name, but this is her YA contemporary romance. That's actually the first book that I read by her. One of my favorite books of all time. I loved it. I actually read it back when it was an ARC, and so I read that on my phone, obviously, and then later on I got a copy when it came out, and because I loved it so fucking much, and I've been wanting to reread it since I got the copy, and I feel like I have forgotten enough about it to make it like fresh and exciting. And I do think that like rereads are quite a great way to get out of a slump, because it's like you're already familiar with it, you already know that you absolutely love it. And sometimes I feel like with rereads, it's like I definitely want to reread the book, but I'm not in the right mood, and that sometimes like scares me. But I'm like, I can literally start it, and if I figure out that I'm not actually in the mood for it yet, I literally can put it back down. Like, it's that easy. And the other book is one that I've actually is I think my most reread book, if we don't count books that I used to reread like super a lot when I was like 13. And that is Damaged Goods by Talia Hibbert. You can see the tabs. This is one of my favorite romances of all time. It means a lot to me. It is a very like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story that heals my soul. I most certainly need that. The only thing is, like, I've reread it, I think twice, which is a lot for me, because it has been in the past, like, 2 or 3 years. But it is a novella. It is one of my favorite books. It is one that I know through and through. So, yeah. Strong contender also. Then I have Heartbreaker by Sarah McLean, a book that I started, was loving, and for some fucking reason put down, and I've been struggling to get back to it. Adored the first book in the series, Bombshell. Like, it was absolutely everything. Then I have one that is, I think, like, one of the top contenders to be the first book that we read, which is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. So this is a book that was supposed to be for a different video, but fuck that. I can still talk about it in that video. And I did read 40 pages, and I just know that, like, the thing is, I know a lot of people have different opinions on Ali Hazelwood. Some people love her, some people absolutely hate her books, but to me, I absolutely love her books. And there's just something so comforting about how similar they are to me. Like, obviously, again, like, it is not something I always want. It is not something that's, like, my perfect book ever. But I enjoy it. I really like it. And when I need that feeling, it's great to know I'm going to have that in the next book that she writes. And so I have actually read all of her books. And so I just really want to read this. I know it's going to be super fun. And so the beginning already had me gripped. Then I have one that I'm so excited for, which is The Plus One by Maisie Eddings. This is the third book in the series. And I've also read all of the other books by Maisie Eddings. I absolutely love her. These are romances that deal quite a lot with, like, mental health, and they're very, like, raw and real, and absolutely here for that. And I think this is gonna be wonderful. And another book that I think is gonna be super easy to read. We are on to the last two books. So I have Twin Crowns by Catherine Weber and Catherine Doyle. And this is a book I've talked about 1,000 times. So partially I'm like, this is also not a good idea, because, like, I've been wanting to get to it for 1,000 years, and I keep saying I will, and there's just this pressure built up in my head. Even though I think that, like, once I pick it back up, it's gonna be super addicting, super fun. I'm gonna actually fucking love it. But I just have not fucking picked it up, and I just feel like I am actually in the mood for this. I think it'd be fucking awesome to, like, pick this up so that I can restart my fantasy journey, because I already started this book. I was loving this book. It was super fun, really easy to read, and just, like, exactly what I need in a fantasy. And so I think we should fucking do this. The weather has been disgusting, and I've been really frustrated because I just want sunshine, and I wanted to read, you know, adult romances and summary books, but I'm just like, well, if it's gonna be disgusting like this, I might as well make the most of it and read something cozy also. So yeah, that being said, I do have one last book here that is a romance, but I mean, the cover screams fall, to be honest. And it is a book that I've been dying to read since I read the first book in this series, and I completely adored it. And everyone basically that I've heard talk about this series loved this one the most. And the way that I loved the first one, I'm like, I'm absolutely fucking ready for this. And did I say the name? It is In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. I just know I'm gonna love this. I just, like, this soothes my soul just looking at it. This has been really long, but I'm gonna go watch Heartstopper, actually. I have 2 episodes left, and it just came out yesterday, and I wanted to save it, but I think it's a fucking success I even managed to save it for, like, 2 days, you know? So I'm gonna watch that, because again, that's also gonna soothe my soul. And then after that, I think I'm gonna put, like, an ASMR room on, maybe make, like, a hot chocolate. I hope this video can give you a little bit of comfort if you need it, or a little bit of entertainment if you don't need comfort, but I think comfort is always good. So let's just, you know, go and read and have a nice, comforting time. Hi everyone, so it is the next morning. We're in bed, chilling, very cozy vibes. I definitely don't look amazing, but I've said this many times before, I need to get comfortable with my face without makeup on. And what better time to do that than, you know, in a little, like, self-care vlog. So I have started reading, or, like, continued basically reading 2 books that I, of course, did not tell you about. So I have a thing that in the evening, I don't really like physically reading. Cause something about the light, you know, when it gets dark and having, like, the not normal, not natural light is just not something I like that much for physical reading. And so I started two ebooks that I did like already start before. At first, I was like, this is not a good idea because I'm literally supposed to be mood reading and reading the most exciting things. But something just made me want to read it, even though I've been kind of struggling through it a little bit. So the first book that I continued and finished is called The Grief We're Given by William Bortz. So I kind of wanted to pick this back up because it's a poetry collection. And again, I feel like that is perfect for a self care vlog. And I've been desperately trying to find new poets and poetry collections that resonate with me because I feel like I desperately need that right now. But at the same time, I've been really struggling to find ones that I connect to. And this author wrote a collection before that I absolutely loved. I think it's called The Small Hungerings, and I read this as an arc and like gave it 5 stars. It was incredible, and I got so excited because I was like, you know what, maybe I found like a new poet that I can like really love and read their, collections and whatever. But this unfortunately did not like, I didn't like it as much as the first one. I gave it 3.5 stars, so it's definitely not that I hated it at all, but um something about it is just like it made it really hard to focus on. I've been reading it for weeks, and I normally read a poetry collection like super fast, but the format was super annoying that like some poems were super long and just like a block of text, which I hate in poetry. A lot of the poems confused me, which is obviously maybe a me problem, but I just like it just stopped held me back from connecting to it. But there were some lines that like really hit me hard, and I do think that this author has a really beautiful writing style. It just yeah, so it was a lot about grief, and just like the title and the cover, I loved it so much. I was like, this is going to be amazing. So I'm a little bit disappointed, but like it was still great. I would still definitely recommend it, but if you were to read something, I would most certainly recommend The Small Hungerings more. Read that, and the book that I'm reading now is called All I've Wanted, All I've Needed by A.E. Valdez. So this is a book that I also started like maybe last week or something, and I looked at the reviews and people really loved it, and some people said that like the beginning was like a little bit difficult to get through. So I was like, you know what, I will keep pushing through. And last night I was like, maybe I should just start something else right now. But something about it just made me want to keep going, even though the beginning is really boring, to be honest. Like, it is kind of all over the place. And so the synopsis is very short and it doesn't give you much, which is fine. I go into books not knowing much, anyways, but it has a mention of a trip to Bali and then like a move to Seattle and whatever. So I expected it to be like a more of a vacation romance, but the Bali is there for like 5 pages. Like, it's basically just mentioned almost. And so that is not a big part of the book at all. And so it is about our main character starting a new life in Seattle. And so the way that it all like happened at the beginning felt really like quick and unrealistic, but I don't really care. The main reason why I've been struggling to get fully invested into this book is that we don't meet the love interest until the 19%, which I'm like, that is absolutely not something I personally like. I want to know who it is basically immediately. Like, that is my favorite thing. And even if it's like doesn't like start developing immediately, I want to know who it is, you know? And so that was kind of frustrating. There was like so much going on that I was just waiting to, find out what the romance is and to get that started. And so the heroine basically like breaks up with her long-term boyfriend at first, and then she kind of has like a journey of self-discovery. And I do think that's awesome that like, she needs to find herself before starting a new relationship, but I felt like it that wasn't even the focus of it. There was just like a lot of side characters and just like too many of them and too many things happening with that. But that being said, I think that like the romance is going to be amazing. Like, I do love the writing and I do love the heroine, and I think that it's going to be wonderful. So I think that I finally reached the point that like it's going to go out from here. It's going to be wonderful. And so the first interaction that they have is like a really bad first impression because the heroine is working at this like coffee shop, and the hero like is kind of rude and says that the coffee is burned and whatever. And so it's kind of like a, I don't think it's gonna be like hate to love because the synopsis does say that they're gonna become friends and then fall in love. But it's fun. Like I feel like I already feel some chemistry a little bit, and so I'm super excited now to see where it goes, and I'm glad that I pushed through. So we'll see. But yeah, if you pick up this book, just push through it because I do think it's gonna be worth it. So I will keep reading that now. And I do want to obviously read some of the physical books, not because I have to, I don't, but I do want to. I just, I do want to keep reading this right now. Tonight, I am going to go out with my roommate and we're going to get some drinks and whatever. And so I am excited for that. I'm going to shut up now. I'll keep reading and I'll talk to you soon.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you.
Hey everyone, so I am once again in bed. I think I'm still wearing this. It is the next day and it's like 7 p.m. or something. And I think I told you I went out last night. We were out till like 4 a.m. or something, and it was super fun, but I have been absolutely exhausted today. So I'm just chilling in bed reading, and I would update you with makeup on looking, pretty and nice, but we're gonna do that tomorrow. Today, we're just doing this because I have quite a lot of things to talk to you about, and I just need to update you at least once today. I finished all I've wanted, all I've needed. And I did enjoy it. I did really like the romance and our two main characters. Like, the romance and the main characters were so cute, so fun. The romance is just like really sweet and healthy and sexy and just absolutely amazing. But I'm pretty sure I told you that it was annoying that like we don't meet the love interest till the 19% mark, that there was just so much going on. And I did really like some of these side characters, but there were too many of them. And just like it was way too chaotic plot wise, and so many scenes felt just unnecessary and that they didn't add anything to the story and just took away from the focus of the romance. And I think the thing that annoyed me the absolute most is at the beginning, Harlow breaks up with her boyfriend, and he is basically a little bit of a like part of the story the entire time. Like, he is so fucking annoying. He is so shitty. That being said, I, again, loved the romance. Super cute. So I would still recommend it. And I am definitely very excited to read more books by this author. And another ebook that I started, but I only read a little bit, is called Natural Enemies by Roan Parrish. So, again, since I am very distracted and whatever, I wanted something really easy that I knew I would enjoy and would be super short. So this is like 115 pages. Roan Parrish is one of my favorite authors, and it's kind of like a hate to love book where both of the main characters are botanists. And so there's like the like flower theme. They just, have a shitty first interaction also. But it's definitely more like hate to love so far than all I've wanted, all I've needed. So I will probably update you when I'm finished with that book. But the like very important thing that I need to mention is miracles happen. I fucking started this book and I'm halfway through now. Look at that. Actually beyond the halfway point. So today, as I was in bed chilling, I was, trying to figure out what I wanted to read and whatever. And I was like, you know what? I want to pick up a physical book. I just thought, I'm just going to read a little bit and we'll see if, where it takes me. And just like I fucking expected, I don't want to stop reading. It is so fun. It's so engaging. It is really fast paced, really interesting. And the world is like complex, but not too complicated. It is really easy to keep up with, and it's just absolutely wonderful. So it is a YA fantasy romance, and it follows these two sisters who are twins who were separated at birth, and one of them, Rose, is the crown princess of this, kingdom, and the other, Ren, she basically was like taken away from the palace at birth, and she grew up with witches. And there's a thing in this whole kingdom where witches are considered, like evil and whatever, and want to be destroyed by some of the like kingdoms. And so Rose grew up to be taught that witches were evil and killed her parents. Ren basically has a plot to take over the throne, to pretend to be Rose so that she can be crowned and like change the whole thing. And her best friend kidnaps Rose away from the palace and takes her to the witches. So we have these two storylines, these two opposite girls in like the opposite places of like where they were born, and they, do that. So I won't say more than that, but I will say there's like two potential romance plots developing that are absolutely fucking iconic, and I have to mention it. I don't think it's a spoiler because like it's quite obvious quite fast. We have Ren, who like starts liking the bodyguard of the prince that Rose is engaged to. So like the person she is supposed to be engaged to when she's pretending to be Rose. And Rose starts, developing feelings for the guy that kidnapped her. So it is so fucking fun and exactly what I needed. And like this is the type of fantasy that I love. Like what I love more a little bit is like standalones that are shorter. But it's honestly not even that fucking long. Like it's not that hard. Like it is so fast paced, like I said, and I want more. Like I don't want it to end with this book, and I'm so excited to finally fucking read a series, and I actually have the second book, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna want to like jump into that after this, but I will have to show you the fucking cover because I have a special edition, so we'll probably do that tomorrow. I'm so happy. Like I am ready to restart my fantasy era and like find the books in the genre that work for me. So I will read that. I do also want to read maybe some audiobooks. I feel like, again, when it gets dark, I will not want to physically read anymore. So it is time for an update. I am finally looking a little better. Still very casual. I am still at home. Still not feeling absolutely amazing, but I have some exciting shit to tell you. So I did, in fact, finish Twin Crowns. And oh my gosh, so I am so happy. I am so proud of myself. I feel like I broke through, at least partially, the barrier that stood between me and reading fantasy again. And I am just really happy. So before I talk to you about my feelings, so like I was reading, and I told you the thing that like I don't really like reading physical books when it's not daylight anymore, and I was like watching things thinking, maybe I could start the ebooks or listen to audiobooks, but I was not really feeling that, and I couldn't focus on anything, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna pick the book back up. And then basically the last like at least 150 pages, I like once I picked it back up in that moment, I was like, I'm not gonna stop anymore. Like I want to read this, I want to finish it. It was just really addicting. It was so easy to read and fast-paced and exciting, and I feel like it is perfect for people who are trying to get either back into or just into the fantasy genre. Like, it is YA, it is not super complex, but at the same time, it is still interesting. It still is like fleshed out and super fun, and while it kind of has like a few basic common tropes, it still feels different. Like I haven't read anything specifically like this. And again, like the romantic subplots, super fun. The like sister relationship between our two main characters, love that. Like, I mean, I feel like both in romance and in any kind of like other relationship, It is so fun to just have two very opposite characters. Love the two of them. Love the contrast between them. Like, I just loved this. And I'm so fucking happy. And I'm so ready to read more fantasy. So I don't know if we're gonna do that in this video. So I do need to show you the sequel. And I also didn't mention that I reorganized my bookshelves. And I have a little... I forgot I have a glass of Coke also. So I am not like super completely happy with it, but I feel like it looks nicer on camera and it is really cute. This is the sequel, Cursed Crowns, and I have this incredibly beautiful special edition. I've shown it in a video before, but oh my god. Like, I can't believe I'm gonna be like reading it and seeing the beautiful edges the whole time. And it is a Waterstones edition. It is the rose one, and I don't know if it's still possible to buy it, but check out the Waterstones website. I did pick up this book today, but before I actually forget, I did also finish The Natural Enemies. So we also actually have like a little opposites dynamic in here. We have Milo and Stefan, and both of them are botanists, and they are also both very different. So Milo is kind of like the free-spirited, charming, flirty, energetic one, and Stefan is kind of like the uptight, quieter, more serious one who is always, you know, needs to have a proper outfit and be put together and is super focused on work. And I feel like the dynamic worked so well in here, so I ended up giving like 3.5 star again. Also Twin Crowns, I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. I do think it's like a 4.5. Like, it is absolutely amazing. I didn't want to give it 5 stars because I did, like, you know, it did take me a while to like get back to it and whatever, which was not the fault of the book, but I think the sequel is gonna be 5 stars, hopefully. Natural Enemies, it was really cute. It was fun. It is very steamy, and it's like a short little novella. It's like 115 pages or something. I did really like the two main characters. I did like the opposites attract dynamic, and if you like fast burn, they have a strong attraction, they quickly have a connection, and you know, all of that stuff. If you don't mind that, definitely pick it up. It didn't feel insta-lovey because like it was more like insta-lust, not insta-love, and the love like developed over time, and so I don't mind that at all. And I do feel like lately I've been reading quite a lot of slow burn books, so I definitely needed that. The like reason why it's not higher is just like Rowan Parrish writes amazing books. I actually love her so much, but this one just did not have as much emotional depth as some other books by Rowan Parrish, and like I didn't quite connect to it that much, which makes sense because like it did come out in like 2018, and you know, the books since then have been better. I do want to read more ebooks. I have so many books on Kindle Unlimited that I'm super excited for, but today, since I was having kind of like an emotional shitty day, because you know, it's like a time of year that is just not it's not fully it. My life is not fully it. Like, so I was just like, you know what is a book that I think would give me the comfort and escape that I really need right now? This is it. Like, I've been wanting to read this for 1,000 years. I did kind of want it to be in like a specific video, but I'm like, it just feels right for it to be in here. I got only to page 24, but I am so excited. I definitely feel like it was the right decision to read it. And I will dive in after this update. And yeah, so Love Light Farms, the first book in this series, I absolutely adored. Like, it was perfection. It is a Christmas book. Like, it is a Christmas book, and I do love Christmas books, but I feel like since this is like a normal book, it's gonna be even better. And I have heard like most people that talked about this series said that this was their favorite, and so I'm like, I already loved Love Light Farms so fucking much that, like, you know, I'm gonna fall in love with this. The plot is basically that our two main characters, Beckett and Evelyn, they have like a one-night stand, and even though, like, obviously they don't know each other well, they do have a really strong connection and attraction to each other, and it's just like a really special moment. And, you know, obviously they aren't like entering a relationship and not expecting much, but still, Evelyn basically leaves without saying anything. And so Beckett wakes up alone, and, you know, it's not a great time. And both of them can't stop thinking about each other for ages. And then Evelyn basically comes to this small town to, for like a thing that she's doing for social media with a small business that Beckett works for. And so that is like the thing that happens in the first book. I don't actually know exactly how it's going to continue, but they already have such a strong connection. And then there's that angst of, you know, like they, even though it was like a short little thing, Beckett did get really hurt. And so like there's still already like a lot of feelings, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. I have no idea how it's like, I don't know if any other tropes that are in here, and I don't think I'm gonna look at what's supposed to happen. I'm just gonna keep reading.
Wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to you now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to you now.
Hi everyone, so we're still in the same spot, but it is a different day, and today we just have to mention my outfit. I am channeling Loki so hard today, and that is why I don't have glasses on, because whenever I do like fun, colorful makeup, the glasses make it look like shit. Obviously, not only like you can't see it much afterwards, but it like leaves a shadow that makes it look ashy. I don't know. Either way, I'm here to talk to you about books. I have read the entirety of In the Weeds by B.K. Borison, so I actually thought that I updated you like after starting this, but I'm pretty sure I like read like this much when I talked to you, so I'm sorry about that. But yesterday I was just not really feeling well. I was really exhausted. I didn't have strength to put makeup on, and I didn't feel like filming, and so I just, you know, wanted to focus on reading this book and just relaxing and rejuvenating and whatever, and I adored it. I mean, to be honest, I would not really have told you anything that like specific in the halfway point anyways. Like the whole time I pretty much had the same like feelings about the book, so it's not exactly what I expected, but I did absolutely love it. So basically there is like a forced proximity aspect to it. May or may not be like a roommate situation, which you might know if you know me. That is like my favorite thing on earth. Like when it comes, like one thing that's become absolutely clear in the past few years is that my absolute favorite setup in any book is any kind of like forced proximity, one place kind of a thing. Like I absolutely love anything that has to do with being close to each other and like one place. Like I don't know why, like I know that to some people that might be boring, but like it just really works, you know? Like it really makes the focus the characters, their emotions, their relationships, and I absolutely love that. So one thing I want to mention, because I feel like it's important for people to know what they're getting into, is this is kind of like a slow, calm story. So it is quite long, and I'm not sure it was just, the whole series was just traditionally published, and I do think that the traditionally published version of this is shorter. Like at least on Goodreads, it has a shorter page count, which isn't necessarily proof that like it was cut down, but there is a chance that that was the case. But it is kind of like a slow moving story where Evelyn is really focused on, you know, just finding happiness and being in a small town. And there's not actually that much that happens. So if you don't like that, I don't think this is going to be for you. I did not feel bored. And you know that I hate when books are too long. I always say that romance should not be longer than like 330 pages in most cases. And I still loved every second because I loved the two main characters, and the whole time they were spending time together pretty much. And so like we kept on getting content with the two of them, which is my main like thing that I want and need in a romance. If you do want like a slow burn, sweet, beautiful romance that is really romantic and gentle and soft, but also passionate and, you know, all of that, like you need to pick up this book. It was exactly what I needed. I was so happy to be able to escape into this book. I did not want to stop reading. I just spent the whole day reading, and it was really gloomy, and it like fit the vibe so well. So I can't wait to dive into the next book in this series, which I thought would be the last, but I'm pretty sure it's not. So That's very exciting. And then the next thing that I read is Act Like It by Lucy Parker. So I started the audiobook like a few weeks ago and I was just not in an audiobook mood. I've been super distracted, like I'm pretty sure I've said. And so I didn't really feel like reading it when I started it. Last night I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna pick it back up, and if I, feel like it, I'm just gonna listen to the whole thing. And I did listen to the whole thing. So I did finish it this morning and I loved it. Like, at the beginning, I again was not in the right mood. But it was so good. It was so fucking good. Basically, it is the first book in the series, but I did read the second book first because that was like a while ago for a different video, and you can read it separately, but obviously, like, I loved the second book, but for some reason I was scared that I wouldn't love the first book as much. And while I do think like that one was like a 5-star incredible, this one ended up being more like a 4.5 star. I still loved it so much. So it is set around theater and, actors and all of that. And our two main characters basically fake date, and it is Grumpy Sunshine. And so I've talked about it before that I absolutely love books around acting and celebrities, but like acting especially. And so that was super fun, and like they were just so cute, and it was just so fun, a little bit angsty and steamy, and just like such a lighthearted, fun book. I didn't love the third act conflict, but like I guess it made sense. When do I ever love the third act conflict? And it was super fun. Today I was sitting at my little beanbag looking at my bookshelves and trying to figure out what I want to read next, and I kind of started feeling like maybe I could do a 24-hour readathon, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Like, I'm just going to talk to you in this video, and maybe I'm going to read a lot tonight and tomorrow because I do feel like I want to read a lot, and I do have work on Wednesday, and then one of my best friends is coming here on Thursday for like 5 days, and so obviously like we might read together a little bit, but obviously I'm not going to like read a lot afterwards, and so I think we are going to read a lot. Hi everyone, so it's the next day. I don't look as cute as I did yesterday right now. I have not had any energy to do my makeup yet, but I have been reading. I was kind of like tidying up my room, and that is something that like exhausts me to no end. My best friend is coming after tomorrow and I have work tomorrow, and so I have to clean up today, The good part of it, though, is I've been listening to an audiobook, which is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, and I'm so happy to say I'm absolutely loving it, and, like, I'm just really happy about that. So this is a series that's been super popular for years, I feel like. Like, it was first indie published, and it was already popular, and then I feel like with TikTok, it, like, took over again and whatever, and I've been wanting to read it for ages, but while I always thought I would like it, I just, it wasn't something that I wanted to prioritize super a lot. So I'm like 35% into it. It is quite long, and don't love that, but so far I don't feel like it's slow. I'm having so much fun with it, and I'm really happy. So I did read Throttled like a month ago, which is like the first book in a different series that was like before this one, and I did already enjoy that. So that did make me more motivated to read this because I did feel like I would love this series even more, and I do think that's going to be the case. And I feel like from what I've heard, it kind of gets better with every single book. Like, I've heard a lot of people say that they liked the second book more than this one. If you don't know what this series is about, it's kind of like Disneyland situation where we have three brothers who are billionaires. Their grandpa owned or created or whatever this thing that's kind of like Disneyland basically, and the three brothers, the grandpa basically passes away, and in his will he kind of has like rules for the three brothers of like what they need to do to be able to like inherit the company and whatever. And I actually, now that I think about it, I don't remember what Rowan in this book is supposed to do. The romance is so good. I don't care about anything else. So basically, it's like an office romance where Zara works for this company. There's like a secret identity thing where Rowan starts texting Zara, and he like keeps his identity a secret, but he knows who Zara is, which is very interesting because usually, I always see this trope with like
both of the main characters not knowing each other's identities from the start, and then usually like one of them finds out first, obviously, but like they both don't know at the beginning. He doesn't want to tell her who he is because like obviously, you know, he's like a very high profile person. He's scared that she would like he definitely has trust issues. He is scared that she would go to HR and like ruin his life if, you know, they got close. But they do get close, like they start getting close through the texting, which this is literally one of my favorite tropes ever. Like I love texting, I love any kind of situation like this. Something about it just really works for me, and I am so here for it. I love the texting parts, and I also love the parts that they have like in real life at work together. Like absolutely here for it. Like I love office romances also. Like it is everything that I love. It's like so many things that I really enjoy mixed into one. Hi everyone. So it is a while later. I got ready and I finished the fine print, and oh my god. I kind of felt a little bit stuck before, and you know, obviously I have been reading, but the plan to like mood read as much as possible and really just have fun did not fully go as I wanted at first, because you know, like I do struggle a lot with just letting myself mood read lately, or like for a while, you know, I get really focused on all the videos that I want to do, and then I just put all these rules in my head that really don't matter, but like it kind of keeps me from fully mood reading and whatever. But this book was just really like about, you know, listening to what I felt like doing and just doing that. And I did start it last night, but today I literally started listening to it this morning. I haven't stopped since. It is 3:30 p.m. I did get out of bed at like 11, but I have not stopped. Like, I think I only did maybe like one other thing. I think I watched an episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty. So I loved this book so much. So again, you know, all the tropes that I mentioned to you, absolutely everything to me. But I'm pretty sure that I didn't mention like one of the key ones, that is, it's Grumpy Sunshine. And while it's like a very basic trope, I'm never gonna have enough of it. I love it so much. So Rowan is the grumpy one, and Zara is the sunshine one, and it just works so well, and I love them so much, and this book was just so fucking fun. So even though, yes, it is long, I obviously inhaled it. I basically read it in one sitting, and while maybe it could have been cut down a little bit, I just feel like it worked so well, and definitely is like pretty slow burn, but not like hardcore slow burn, which absolutely works for me. And it is emotional and really steamy and just so addictive and so fun and exactly what I needed. So obviously, billionaires in real life, disgusting, but in books, very fun. And so some things when it comes to that are obviously a little bit ridiculous in here, but I don't read it for the realism, you know, I doubt that anyone does. So obviously, if you hate reading about rich people and you absolutely hate the thought, you know, of a billionaire hero, do not read this series. But if you don't care, it is so fucking fun. So I just adored it. It actually had so many like really sweet moments. There's like the like being sick, taking care of each other trope where Rowan takes care of Zara, which is just like, oh my gosh. And, you know, like I also want a man who can just take me to New York to, you know, a signing of one of my favorite authors. Like, fuck yeah. So it was just so fun. But I think I'm gonna dive into the next book today, which I do not do ever. Like, I used to be a binge reader, binge watcher, but nowadays it takes a lot for me to like read a series back to back. The two other books that I'm considering are, the first one is Scandalized by Ivy Owens, and the second one is Work for It by Talia Hibbert. So obviously, listening to audiobooks, like, you know, all day is not healthy for my head, especially with headphones. Like, it would kind of make me sick, I think. And so I do want to take a break. This one just was calling my name. I've had it for a while, and it's like a celebrity romance is all that I know about it. It is 300 pages, and I don't remember anything else. Okay, so this says that they know each other from childhood because the hero is the heroine's childhood friend's brother,
and he's now also a famous actor. This one is Reread. So this was actually one of my first books that I ever read by Talia Hibbert, who is now my favorite author of all time. And I don't really remember anything. So like I remember some feelings and like little flashes of scenes in my mind. And I just recently, like a few weeks ago, bought a physical copy finally. And I think it's time. Like I'm not fully sure because like it's not a book I want to have to put down, but I also don't want to rush it. And so it's like the timing, I'm not sure if it's fully it, but at the same time, if I want a book that's definitely gonna have my attention, is gonna be super addicting, I'm gonna love every second, like this is definitely a top choice. I'm having a lot of fun. I feel pretty good today, and I'm so happy about the fine print. So, yeah, so I'm gonna shut up now. So I have been reading and I did pick up Work for It by Talia Hibbert, and I got to page 86, so I'm like a third of the way through. It is obviously amazing. So it has like a very specific vibe that I do feel like is very different from other books by Talia Hibbert. It still has its like jokes and Talia's humor, but it definitely is a little bit more melancholy than the other books. I wouldn't say it's super heavy, but there is like a little cloud of super strong, painful emotions over both of our main characters that definitely comes out from the pages. I do think there is a chance I'm gonna read the whole book today. I'm not sure though, because like it's definitely not a book that I'm tempted to read in one sitting, but at the same time, like I do want to keep reading, so we'll see how that goes. But I do love it. I did forget a lot about it. We have Olu and Griff, and Olu basically comes to this small town. He's from London, and he comes to this random small town. Griff lives there and works as some kind of like, not farmer, but something along the lines. And Olu basically comes there to like help with some, I forgot what it's called. Whatever, just do some work in the town as well when it comes to like farming type shit. It definitely has really strong small town vibes and it feels quite cozy. And yeah, the romance is really interesting in this. It's like hate to love. They meet at the bar at the small town at first, and both of them are very closed off, very depressed and lonely, and they keep to themselves, and they're not like the same though at all. So Olu is quite like flirty and has that like charming vibe, but at the same time he is really depressed and like still kind of has really high walls around him, and he actually is quite angry at the world. And Griff is more quiet and kind of calm, but like he is like this giant man that a lot of people are kind of almost like scared of, but he is like, you know, like a gentle giant sort of a vibe, like deep down, you know, like grumpy on the outside, but such a softie and cinnamon roll deep down. And I love the two of them. So I mean, like, I do sort of remember some things about how it progresses, but not really the details, like I said. So I can't wait to see that, and I can't wait to see them get close, because they are both very much like, you know, they haven't been in a relationship in ages. They're not really open to it, but they're gonna find a home within each other. And it's just like such a soft romance that like it is like really, it just like goes deep. I don't know if that makes sense. I still absolutely want to dive into terms and conditions, so I need to do a little bit more cleaning, and so I will definitely be starting it in the next like hour or two, and so that is the plan. So I am having such a great reading day and I'm absolutely thriving. I also did start watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and I'm really enjoying it. My sister was telling me about it, and so I started it, and I didn't really know it was a thing. Loving the found family vibes. Actually really love the characters. So I'm absolutely wrecked from work, and so I'm gonna make this quick. I'm sorry if I sound completely exhausted. I can barely like breathe at this point, but
I want to give you a quick little update. The book that I started, that I'm pretty sure I either told you I started or I was going to start or whatever, is Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. And oh my god, I'm so happy. Like, I am so happy and so excited. Ever since the series started being hyped, I did think that I would like it. I expected to like it. But I didn't really expect to completely fall in love with it. And, as I was reading the first book, I was just like, is this supposed to get even better? I was already obviously loving it. Somehow, I wouldn't say that I'm already loving this book more than the fine print, but, I can see how it could be better. How did no one tell me that this is, a marriage of convenience situation where they, okay, so like I said, the series follows the three brothers who all have a different thing that they have to do to get the inheritance. And in this case, Declan has to basically get married and have a child, which, very questionable to have to do that, but whatever, we can look past that. And he ends up, having a plan to get married with his assistant. So it's like a workplace romance, kind of not forbidden. It's not actually forbidden, at the workplace or whatever, but a little bit questionable, And they basically worked together for a long time. They're close in the workplace, not emotionally or as friends or whatever, but just, they trust each other at in the work setting. And so I don't remember the heroine's name yet, but she basically does so much work for Declan, and she's just definitely someone that he can rely on at work. She is actually the one who was planning the marriage for Declan, but the woman basically just backed out. She was like, I'm not doing this. And it was a very last minute thing, and so the heroine was like, okay, I'm gonna be the one who marries you. First of all, fucking love that. They have to move in together as well, fuck yeah. And on top of that, he is very possessive over her, and in books we stan. Not so it's not in a super intense way, but he just really likes her. He gets really jealous already at the beginning. We absolutely love to see it. And so that's a thing. And one thing I had one little thing I love so much about it is she's actually really close friends with his brother, who's the hero in the third book. Oh my god, obviously that's kind of the first time that we're spending time with him, and I love it. It's getting me excited for the third book even more, and I love this little friendship. I love friendships in books, and it's so fun because Declan gets jealous that they're close, and he's absolutely not, and whatever, and it's a thing, and I love it so much. So obviously, as you know, I am loving Terms and Conditions, and I was just you know what? Even 2 days ago, as I was reading it, I thought, you know what, I kind of wish I had this in a physical copy as well, but obviously since I already started listening to it on audio, I was I shouldn't be buying this book right now. But today I was at the bookstore, and I was just you know what, I'm just gonna have a look to see if they have the book. And at first it didn't look like they did, and then I found the Lauren Asher place on the shelf, and they had the last fucking copy of this book. They had the fine print and the last book in a lot of copies, but they only had one of these. And I was like, okay, well, fuck it all. This is a sign. I don't love the covers of these. I'm just all the random buildings on it. I'm what even is that, But I don't give a fuck, because I obviously am loving this series so much. I will be reading it tonight, and it is quite long, but I don't give a shit. So yeah. That being said, I did keep reading another book because I did want a physical book and I didn't have that yet, and that is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I am reading this for a different video, so I'm not going to talk about it too much right now, but I couldn't not tell you, because this is completely altering my life right now. So oh my god, okay, I am on page 210. Did I say the name of this book? Yeah, right? Anyways, I'm fine.
So I've had this book since it came out, which is not that long ago, but it was a book that I was like, you know what, I want to read it immediately. But since it's also for a different video, which is like, it's not the right time yet, whatever. And so yesterday I started reading it. And today at the bookstore, I picked it up. And sometimes I actually can't really focus that much when I'm at a bookstore. Like, I obviously, like, I love writing and reading outside, but for some reason, I often just like read for a little while and then I'm like, I get uncomfortable and I feel like I should leave. But this time, it was literally painful to stop reading. I only did it because the bookstore was closing. I immediately need to jump back in. Like, I should probably make a little dinner and then I'm immediately reading it until I finish it because this is fucking incredible. I've talked about this before. Like, I know some people don't like her books, but I think that, like, the special thing about it to me is that there are the readers who, once they love one of her books, they love all of them. And I know that people complain about them being too similar, and that is a valid opinion. I don't give a fuck though. I don't read it for like some special plot or, you know, unique representation or whatever the fuck. I read it because it is beautiful escapism that is so fun and funny and entertaining and just absolutely wonderful. And this book, I have heard a lot of people say that this is like the best one and whatever, and I kind of went into it still obviously expecting to love it, but I didn't think I would have like a deeper connection to it. I have a deep connection to it. This is my favorite. Like, I already loved Love on the Brain more than The Love Hypothesis. Elsie, the heroine, I relate to her so hard, and it's hitting me on so many levels, and I'm like, fuck, like, I know this is exactly the book I needed right now. Like, I have not been doing the best, and something happened that made it even worse at work, and so I was feeling super stressed, like, really vulnerable and horrible, and I needed some fucking serotonin, you know, something to make me feel better, and this is doing exactly that, and I'm just, like, so emotional because I just love romance so much, and the way that it helps me survive in the worst moments. Like, it is the best thing in the fucking universe. And so, I am loving this. Let's go back to what this book is actually about. So basically, if you don't know Ali Hazelwood's books, it is just, all of them are surrounding STEM, academia, and whatever specific, like, areas in it, but if you know nothing about physics or anything remotely like that, just like me, you're not gonna see any difference in any of that, like, when it comes to that. But this book specifically follows Elsie and Jack. Elsie is doing this thing that is like an app where people can hire someone to fake date. Like, they pay them to pretend to be dating. And Elsie right now specifically is fake dating this guy, Greg, who has not ever really been in a long-term relationship, and his family keeps annoying him about it. And so he just wants them to shut up. And so they've become kind of friends at this point, and Elsie desperately needs the money because the area that she works at, I don't fully understand it. It's just, you know, no pay, no insurance, and she has diabetes, and so she is really struggling, like, she, you know, needs a lot of money for the things for that, and it's just like a fucking struggle, you know? And literally everything else in life as well, obviously. And so she does this job for that reason, and Jack, the hero, is Greg's brother, who has, you know, obviously met Elsie through the brother, and he was just kind of like, something's not adding up with this fake dating scheme, and he, oh my god, like, whatever. And so there's this part to the story, and then they find out that they actually work at the same place, and Elsie is a candidate for this job, where Jack is one of the people deciding, you know, if she's gonna get the job. We definitely have like a hero falls first, very hard also, and like an oblivious heroine who's just like very caught up in her head and is very annoyed at him and is attracted to him, and it annoys her that she's attracted to him, but like she also still loves spending time with him. And oh my god, like, I'm obsessed with this. And she is like a hardcore people pleaser and tries to figure out what others want from her and all of that, and shifts based on that. And of course, Jack is like the first person she can't help but, like, she doesn't know how to be who he wants. She doesn't know what he wants from her, and so she has to be herself, and it frustrates her, but he loves it, and like that shit is hitting so close to home. I'm like losing my mind. There was a line that like had me shaken to my core. I literally almost cried at the bookstore, and like I could not keep a straight face, which says a lot because I'm good at hiding my feelings. So Elsie is most certainly good at that as well. The funny thing is, I could not be less of a science person. So any of those themes in Ali Hazelwood's books, I could not give less of a fuck about. Like, I love the fact that other people who like that have that in her books, and I can like appreciate the value, but I don't give a shit about that stuff. I don't understand it either. And so those things I never like see myself in the books, but the personality Elsie has, like, you know, if she was a writer, she was like a little bit different. Yeah. So this is not only super fun and entertaining, funny, absolutely wonderful. I can't wait to see them fall in love because like it is very slow burn so far and it's torturous in the best way. And at the same time, I can't wait for her to like accept the care that she deserves and the love that she deserves. And Jack is just so sweet and wonderful. And I'm just like, where do I find one? I'm gonna shut up now. So I will definitely be reading this first today. And then we're gonna dive back into this.
I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Turn this room, turn it to an ocean. Let me float around. Eyes closed, like we're dreaming even when we're not. You and me got a whole other meaning, I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to you now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. We can do nothing.
Hi everyone, so it is time for an update. I hope this angle is not too weird. So it is Wednesday now. My best friend left this morning, last night basically, because their flight was super early. And so I'm here to wrap shit up. And I mean, I haven't done like super a lot of reading while she's been here, but I've read a little bit, and I don't know how long this vlog is going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be super long. I finished Love Theoretically. Again, I am going to talk about it more in that other video, so I won't tell you much more. But this was everything to me. I, like, you know, again, I think I said, a lot of people have been saying that, like, this is Ali Hazelwood's best work and whatever. I think that the thing that, like, hit me the most in this was, like, the meaning behind everything that happened, the meaning behind Elsie's experience. That is the part that, to me, makes this Ali Hazelwood's best work, because the previous books were super fun, amazing, loved the romance. It just, like, it was addicting, it was wonderful, but in this, it was addicting and wonderful and just super beautiful and inspiring in a way. Like, I don't know if that's the right word, but, like, I connected to it more than any other book by Ali Hazelwood, and more than most other books, which is really funny because, like, I obviously, like I already said before, the, like, STEM, science-y shit, I personally could not give less of a fuck about that, and so I don't read Ali Hazelwood's books expecting to relate to the heroines, and so this really just was the most amazing surprise that also just came for me way too hard, so I'm so happy that I read it. Terms and conditions. I did, in fact, read more of that, and I got to page 202, so I'm getting close to the halfway point, and I'm obsessed. So yeah, I will not be finishing it in here, but I already read the first book in this, and I wasn't even supposed to finish this. Like, I wasn't even supposed to read it, you know? I'm so happy. I will definitely be reading the third book very I didn't expect to love these books that much. Like, I knew I would enjoy them a lot. Like, I expected them to be, like, honestly 5 stars or, like, 4 at least.
But like I am addicted. I like, oh my gosh. If you like emotionally repressed heroes who are kind of grumpy and all that shit, this series is for you. If you hate that, definitely don't read it. Again, if you hate reading about rich men, don't read the series. If you, however, do like that, if you like grumpy heroes and all that shit, you're gonna eat this shit up. So, that's that. And last thing, I don't know, I think I mentioned this book to you, right? So for this one, I got to page 86. Am I reading 1,000 bajillion things at the same time? Absolutely. And I had to hold myself back from starting like new ebooks that are romance. And like I always say that I don't read more like multiple books in the same genre at the same time, but the amount of contemporary romances I've been reading lately is unhinged. But to be fair, they're all very, very different vibes. I hope this update makes sense. I hope I don't look completely ridiculous because like it's been a long day and a long week and a long month and a long year. But these books, they're keeping me alive, and I hope that this vlog also gave you a little bit of something, you know, a little bit of something good into your day. And yeah, so if you made it this far in the video, leave like a potion emoji down below. Is there a potion? Like the sciencey shit, you know? Leave any of that down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well, and I'm gonna see you soon in another video. Bye!